Hey, a few days ago, I had a bad day. I can reflect on that and I can think about what happened. I can think about how I got back to that dark place, how I felt that dark hand of the dark man on my shoulder and turned around and he was there. I wasn't expecting him. It threw me, it surprised me, it frightened me. And I can backtrack and I can think about some things that happened that may have led to that. I can think about the fact that my son was going back home and we'd had 2 intense days of laughter and fun and riding on motorbikes together, living his dream, realizing his dream. And I can see that I'd had a tattoo done and it was a big 6-hour job and it was a big tattoo and a painful tattoo. But because of my attitude and how I embrace pain and think of pain as just reminding me how alive I am, maybe that macho, that real powerful positive way of thinking wasn't helping me either. And then I couldn't dip, and cold water dips and are a big part of who I am now. So I couldn't get in the water and can't do for 2 weeks. In fact, this weekend will be the first time. And then I couldn't go to the gym, so I couldn't exercise. So all those things layering up added to where I went and how I felt. But then I also realized that I was putting way too much of myself out there. My life was almost a movie. You know, every dip was videoed, every occasion videoed, in the gym videoed, everything became a story. Like I had to script everything that was happening in my life. And was I actually projecting an image of myself as opposed to actually living that authentic image of myself? And I realized that I was answering way too many texts. I was answering way too many messages. I was shining my light way too far and wide. And in shining that light way too far and wide, I was draining myself and not focusing on the things that really mattered. My business, my paying clients, my friends, my family. And most of all, me. The real me, authentic me. Not the me that needs to feel that I needed to be telling everybody I was doing great. Look at me, look how good I am, look how fit I'm getting. Projecting an image of me, maybe doing something that I'd said that I would never ever do. Wearing a mask. Maybe I was. I'm not sure about that, but I certainly wasn't being that best version of me. I wasn't serving myself in the best way that I could, or my clients in the best way that I could. I was allowing myself to be distracted by too many things and to be distracted by too many people. You can't shine a light on everyone and everything. Ultimately, all you do is you weaken that light. By spreading it wide, it weakens it. And what you have to do is you have to take the beam of that light and narrow it down. And just like any beam that you narrow down, it becomes brighter and stronger. And illuminate the things that you really need to look at, that are really important to you. Because they're the only things that matter. And so don't shine your light where it's being drained, only where it's being reflected. Because if you shine your light where it's being drained, people will just take until there's nothing left. And I looked down to where I thought that big S was on my chest, and it wasn't there. I went to drink from the cup, and it was empty. And the important thing is to just recognize that. The important thing is to be able to sit with that. The important thing is to be able to wrap your arms around that and bring it in and accept it. Hey, today was a day I was not okay. And it would have been so easy once the dark man came and spoke to me again. It would have been so easy for me to listen to them. And there'll always be people out there who don't agree with you. There'll always be people out there who don't like you or like what you do. Do you know that there are people out there who hate you or don't like you who've never met you just because they've listened to something that somebody else has said about you? And you need to know that those people really don't matter. Don't give a shit about them because they're not on your radar. Don't give a shit about them because they mean nothing to you and they impact your life not one jot. You have to be true to you. And I don't think I was being. I was in some ways, but in many ways not. In trying to please everybody, I was not honouring myself. In trying to illuminate everybody, I was weakening myself and not shining that light on the people that really needed me in the places I needed to really shine that light. So even though it was a bad day or a bad few days, there is great knowledge and wisdom gleaned from that dip. And so I immediately, and this is how I operate, this is what I do, and this is what I preach, if you like, this is what I advocate. But only because it works for me. That doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Maybe we all have to navigate our own boats through our own storms. Maybe each one tacks a little differently. Maybe each one sails a little different. Maybe each one's hull is a little different. But we all have to navigate those turbulent, dark waters. And if I can give you a compass to do that and show you how I've done that, then surely that is worth doing, whether that's through that book or whether it's through speaking out like this. But what I don't think I need to do is be front and center anymore. You know, I don't need to video every dip. I don't need to make a video of myself speaking when you can hear me speak. And I can just put pictures up and you can just listen to my voice. You don't have to be distracted by me. I don't need to be out there anymore. And so what I'm saying is that the way I deal with the Darkman is the way I will always deal with the Darkman. It's the way that I got rid of the Darkman, but I have to accept that that Darkman is always there. And you have to accept that it's always there. In fact, we cannot have light without dark. There has to be a certain amount of us that is dark. There has to be a certain amount of us that isn't pure. There has to be a certain amount of us that isn't good. In order for us to see the light, there has to be dark. And so it's about accepting those bad parts of ourselves, accepting those parts that aren't as good. It's about accepting the fact that we can never be pure, absolutely pure of heart, absolutely pure of thought. Not a single one of us, none of us is that person, not one. And you have to accept that. And as soon as you accept that, and you accept those bad parts of you, those dark parts of you, as the whole of you, then instead of trying to take those jigsaw pieces out that make up all of those parts of you, and in taking those pieces out, you leave a part that's empty, you leave a part that can't be filled, there's always a hole in you. By putting those dark pieces back in and accepting them as part of who you are, part of your identity, part of your journey, at that point, then you wrap your arms around them, you can begin to move on. There has to be dark in us for there to be light. But what we aim for and what we strive for is for that biggest part of us to be that brightest part of us, that lightest part of us. And in doing that, we are way more good than we are bad. So I saw that dark part. I saw that dark man. I absolutely refused to surrender. I turned around and focused all of my energy on that man, all of my energy on that enemy. I picked up my shield and sword, and instead of trying to battle for everybody else, and I was weary, I was tired while I was battling. And then I turned around and I looked the enemy in the eye, that enemy, and said, if you want me, you are in for the fight of your life, because I will not stop swinging. I will not stop battling. I will not put my shield and sword down. I will fight you till my very, very, very last breath. You will get all of me. And I meant it. And I mean it. And so people might say, oh, you bounce back quickly. No. Because if you think that, then you don't understand me, and you certainly don't honour me. And you can't even begin to understand me or what I'm going through if you really believe that. Because I have that same battle you do every single day with your demons, whatever they may be. Whether they are with the dark man or the dark woman. Whether they're with drugs or alcohol. Whether they're with self-esteem, depression. Whatever your demons are, whatever's coming knocking on the door for you, don't ever judge me unless you can truly judge yourself. Don't ever judge me unless you think you can truly understand and feel and know me. I battle every day. But sometimes that battle, as it has been for a long, long time, has been so much easier because I've actually been able to focus on all the other things in my life and not look to that place, not look to that enemy. And then to know that they crept up on me like a ninja in the night, stealthily, and just gave me that tap on the shoulder. Well, that was a good thing, because it was a wake-up call. And maybe these words that I'm putting out there now are a wake-up call for you, because the only reason I speak these words, the only reason I'm putting this out there is to illuminate you, is to let you know that if I'd succumbed, if I'd opened the door, if I'd let that dark, dark enemy in and listened to them, then I would not be having this conversation with you today. I would be in my bed. The curtains would be drawn. Every single breath would be an effort. Swinging my legs out of that bed would be monumental. Trying to push that 300-pound duvet off me would be massive. For that is the place that the dark man takes you. That is the place that the enemy takes you. No. Never, never, ever. Not on my watch. No way. I am not listening to a single word you say. I am not giving you 1 second of my energy. You are not worthy of my time, my headspace, my life. I know more than most, having come back and seen things most people have never seen. Having been to the very edge of self-destruction, I know exactly what goes through a person's mind in those dark times. I know exactly what they are thinking, what their last thoughts are. I have unique insight and wisdom into those places. And that is what allows me to do the work I do with the amazing, beautiful, unique people that it is my blessing to work with. That is where my focus is, not on that dark, dark enemy trying to creep up on me, but that dark, dark enemy creeping up, or who has actually got hold of you. So I will share every single piece of me and every single ounce of wisdom, every single tool, every single revelation, every single success that I have ever had in battling that dark, dark enemy to help you to battle yours. So I say to you, never ever lay down. Never ever. Even if you have to tell yourself while that other part of you is screaming at you to lay down, to give in, and you have to tell yourself and push through with the most incredible force to stand and walk and step out the door, to brush your teeth, to get dressed, To make it to that bench in the garden, for that is a victory. To make it to the gate, that is a victory. To make it to the shops, that is a victory. To get to the gym that first time, that is a victory. To book that appointment, that is a victory. And each small victory is a win. And each win takes you closer to you, the real you. Not the you that is shrunken and minimized and made invisible by it. It is not who you are. It does not define you. And so that's my message to you. Never quit, never lay down, never surrender, never let them in. Never let it have you. Never let it own you. Never let it whisper those dark untruths to you about how shit you are, how crap you are, how nobody cares, how nobody loves you, how invisible you are, how nobody's going to miss you, for it speaks bullshit, tainted with death and destruction and the vile things, the hurtful things that it knows will hurt you most. And that's the language it speaks to you. It speaks to you in a way that you would never, ever speak to anybody else. For its nature is death and destruction, not love and life and light and energy. Because that is the best part of you. That is the biggest part of you. And you need to make that light way bigger than the dark. And so, I'm glad that I've had that tap on the shoulder, because it's been a massive wake-up call for me, and I hope that my words are a massive wake-up call for you. You know, you don't have to be that negative you. You don't have to be that mood hoover you. You don't have to eat a shit sandwich every day, or let it feed you a shit sandwich that you willingly take. You don't have to play tragedy every single day on that music station in your mind, when you can play happy, you can play beautiful, you can play inspirational. You can paint yourself all the colours of the rainbow instead of painting yourself those dark black colours that it wants to paint you. Don't be that person that quits. Be that person that never quits. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. Don't quit on you. Don't quit on me. Don't quit on life. Big love, big respect. Always here, always have an ear, always there for 2 hours every Friday. Always.